Right, it is currently 5:56 p.m. This is for documentation purposes regarding what it is that I'm capturing on podcast. So let me first start this video with the entity that is gang stalking, and this is the commercial actor Amazon Prime. And Amazon Prime's license plate, Amazon Prime remains a part of the criminal pattern of conduct as they are arriving and maliciously engaging in the P.O.C. and the people of the state that are gang stalking by residents. And as an ongoing population, Amazon Prime is a part of that corrupt population that's gang stalking at the venue. And as they drive off, meaning the pattern of conduct continues, and I document, publish as I always do, and I am always subjected to ongoing harassment and terrorism and psychological torture. In the form in an apartment building, an apartment complex, criminal interference with quiet enjoyment while that property management company is gang stalking, while you're being subject to terrorism and psychological torture at your home in an apartment building. All right, and so 37140J3 is being documented. I'm going to capture the screen recording to show you the significance of what happened at 10 o'clock in the morning on March 25th, 2025. That was just days ago, and what I documented moments ago at 5:03 p.m. at the same location in the parking lot at this apartment complex, which is the specific environment, showing you the malice of gang stalkers like Amazon, who are being documented at the same time, while I remain subject to the unlawful violation of my rights by the gang stalking entity that is targeting me while I am in the midst of what is documentation. So first of all, you're looking at this. This is where the entity has the fake sun on this side, this X here. This is where the fake sun is beginning, while I am, you can see where I touched the screen right here. This is the building where I'm at, Unit 51, and this is where the fake sun is rising on this side of Tracy Banks' apartment, Unit 51, in the morning. And this is, like I captured at 5:30 p.m., where the entity has the fake sun on the opposite side of the same location, and it only advances as I advance. And you're breaking down that illusion of regarding it. There's not even an actual illusion. The more that you're listening and understanding, that's not movement. That's moving as I move. If I don't move, neither does the fake sun. It's rising from one side of my person to the opposite side. As my person advances west in the parking lot, the fake sun stays wherever it is. If it's at the top of my head and I walk west, it stays at the top of my head in the direction west. If the entity is rising the fake sun and setting it toward the west side of my person inside of this apartment, that's what you're looking at, and you're breaking that down, because you can see the position of the fake sun at 8 o'clock in the morning. You can see the position of the fake sun at 12:30 in the afternoon. You can see the position of the fake sun at 4:30 in the evening, and you can see the entity keeping the fake sun at 5:30, 6 p.m. when you're looking at what is when I'm not walking. You can see what the entity is doing. It's just staying on the same grounds at the east, and then directly above my head, and then what is on the west side of Tracy Banks' front door, Unit 51. So that's the significance of understanding the P.O.C., because this is what the entity is doing. It's rising the fake sun on the east side of Units 33 through 64, and it is setting the fake sun on the west side of Units 33 through 64. And this is the same venue where there is no Terminal 2 or Terminal 4. There is no placement where the Ontario International Airport is taking off. They're not taking off from the street. They're not taking off from the shopping plaza that is east of this apartment complex. They're not taking off from the airport and then remaining hovering throughout the city and then rising in elevation as they fly over what is essentially flying over what is this apartment building right here at the front of the apartment complex, and then rising in elevation, flying over essentially what this street right here is Vine Avenue. Excuse me, this is G Street. There's no takeoff from Terminals 2 and Terminal 4. The entity, in other words, is clearly gang stalking by planes. As you saw the Ontario Police Department gang stalking by flying, they were engaged in surveillance sitting right here in a helicopter, hovering over the apartment building as I walk out, and the entity is gang stalking by helicopter by flying over me at this apartment complex where AVANATH is gang stalking. AVANATH is gang stalking with Amazon Prime. AVANATH is gang stalking with the Ontario Police Department. AVANATH is gang stalking with the entity that is... All right, it is currently 5:56.
All right, AVANATH, as I was stating, AVANATH is indeed gang stalking with the people of the state. And that is what I want to show you. That is what I previously recorded, so I just went on ahead and let that play again because I don't want to restate all of that. All of that remains the same. I want to document the demon that is still right now engaging in what is amplified audible activity of a psychotic nature. This is license 5WUB 715. This is a severely demented third party. This is the same conduct of the entity that's gang stalking, however. So I just want to be clear, it's not different from the gang stalking police department. The demons are pacing all around. You're just being acquainted with how mentally sick people, how demon-possessed people who don't want you to know about that are engaging in what is trying to appear substantially similar to a normal person, to somebody that's not demon-possessed, to somebody that's not gang stalking another person. And that is accomplished by living at the same location where the person is being targeted. That is accomplished by engaging in what is appearing on the surface, again, absent the knowledge of the specific environment, to appear to be something that has nothing to do with the target individual. But that's not persuasive with regard to the gang stalking by the government. In helicopters and airplanes and whatnot, the entity that's gang stalking by police, fire, and ambulance, they are the ones that make it so obvious that the entity is gang stalking. Then you get into the specific environment, which ties it all together. Then you're getting down to who are the demon-possessed people of the state. So when you're looking at the population, this demon is engaged in, it's currently 6:09 p.m. She has, since I started breaking down the entity gang stalking under the fake sun that rises on this side and sets on this side of the apartment, where I started this video, the entity is maintaining ongoing amplified audible activity, which is, again, nothing other than the demons that are harassing. And her license plate is 5WB715. And she is engaging in that pursuant to a pattern of conduct. So the entity that is indeed engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring inside of unit number 52, she is, again, this third party is gang stalking and is severely mentally ill as well. The demon in unit 55 shares the same building, and she is in relevant position. She knows what I'm saying as well. She and whoever lives with her in this apartment, she's going to federal prison. You see this walker? This old biddy's going to prison. Okay, she's gang stalking with the demon in number 56. They are engaging in the pattern of conduct by gang stalking by residents. They are sharing with impunity, and they have the same mental illness, demon possession, and malicious desire to target someone and psychologically harm them. That's why they're living at a crime scene. That's why the entity is welcoming the police who are gang stalking. That's why they engage in criminal summoning with the entity. The government is helping them engage in the statewide system of group stalking. The entity is doing so with, again, the mental health patient that's in unit 55. She's not engaging in any anomaly. She is mentally sick like every other gang stalker that's residing at the crime scene, and she's engaged in ongoing criminal interference with quiet enjoyment, which, as you see, is the pattern of conduct. They are always engaging in the same exact code of conduct, especially while I'm documenting what is the POC at what is at Woodside Senior Apartments, where AVANATH is indeed gang stalking with the people of the state. Those that are in units 33 through 64, they're going to federal prison. They're going to mental asylums, which is where the demon in unit 55, who you can see, she's the one that is engaged in amplified pacing, and she does so as I look at this video. The moment that I pull it up at 10 o'clock in the morning, these demons are triggered by this. This is what they're triggered by, okay? The entity that is gang stalking me, sorry, I want to show you. This is what they're triggered by. The moment that I pull it up, the demon in unit 55 immediately begins amplified pacing. Now, what's significant, I'm going to show you what I documented on this morning. I walked into the parking lot at 5:30 p.m. This is what you're looking at down here. This is the exact same parking lot that I'm in at what is at the end of the day at 5:03 p.m. And as I document this, Amazon Prime does not cease to be engaged in the pattern of conduct. They came and participated in it. The entity remains a part. There is no ceasing to be. You don't end a part of a criminal conspiracy because you drive off. Your co-conspirator is acting on your behalf, and you remain criminally responsible for that which your co-conspirator continues, which is reasonably in furtherance of completing that criminal objective, which is gang stalking. That's the purpose of a whole entity, gang stalking. That's the purpose of gang stalking where you live. And AVANATH Capital Management is gang stalking with Amazon Prime, who is engaged in criminal obstruction of justice, psychologically torturing me. Criminal interference with quiet enjoyment by gang stalking in an apartment is accomplished by amplified audible activity that fills your apartment, which is a violation of the ordinary rules of how property management goes. The entity that is gang stalking by demons that are filling the apartment buildings, and they're going to federal prison in units 33 through 64. They are doing so with the intent to obstruct justice while I'm documenting the following. This is the fake sun that's over me at 10 o'clock in the morning in the same parking lot.
Talking with the people of the state in these two buildings who are going to federal prison. All right, RGS's license plates, these are the Latino males. If they're not natural born citizens, you're going to send the likes of them out of there. All right, and they're engaging in the pattern of conduct with regard to what is retaliation, because they're the ones that were monitoring my genitalia in the bathroom, and they're documented in the perpetual sex offense that's committed in bathrooms when you're being kept under surveillance by a bunch of predators, males like those that work for RGS, license 7N98091. They're going to mental asylums and going to prison, which, you know, these sex offenders, these pedophiles in Unit 41 are 04661DA. And Impossible Light. They're going to mental asylums.
Okay, so first of all, what you're looking at here is the fake sun is over me, and pay attention to this vehicle that you see down here. License 5WB715. This is the mental health patient that is gang stalking Unit 55. It's her vehicle. She is a documented gang stalker while the fake son is over me where she resides. I'm prosecuting these demons by the location where they're at. And then I'm also documenting them because they're admission to being gang stalkers while they engage in their code of conduct. The entity is surrounded by a body of evidence, but it goes even farther than that because you need to understand what Satan is doing. You need to understand that Satan is your enemy. He hates you. He is a spirit and he uses people. And you can also deduce his presence through an environment that defies nature. It's demonic. So at 10 o'clock in the morning when I'm at the same location in the parking lot, because you can see the same vehicle right here where I'm pointing, that's license 5WB715. And this demon is monitoring in the same way in this video down here, which you will look at. That's what this demon is doing. As I walk out, hold on, I want you to see where I'm at, because this is called surrounding with activity. And this license plate right here is license 8GEN638 under the fake sun. That's reflecting off of the same vehicle where I'm standing in the same parking lot. And 8GEN638 is stalking in the path. That is, you're stalking someone whom you know who they are. You're stalking someone because you know what they're doing at the moment that they're doing it. You know all of this about the knowledge of what is a stalker who is obsessed based on the nature of stalking, which is proven through an environment that defies nature. Not only that, not only do they know what I'm doing, they engage in more harassment, terrorism, and psychological torture tactics while they're maintaining an ongoing campaign of psychological warfare. These are demons that are targeting in the spirit, and these are demons that are clearly targeting as I'm prosecuting them for gang stalking. And their psychopathic, diseased mindset is going to be used to diagnose them by virtue of what they did to me. Because you're gang stalking me, now you're going to be sitting in a mental ward. Those who engaged in documented acts of pacing in helicopters and airplanes, in their apartments, outside under the fake sun, in their vehicles, I'm documenting it, and you're going to a mental asylum. The entity is doing so. I want to be clear. What 8GEN638 is engaging in, that's what this demon operating this vehicle residing in Unit 41 is doing.
It's impossible light. They're going to mental asylums. 9CZCO59 underneath, across 1312.
Now, the significance of what you're looking at, first of all, the vehicle is driving by, engineer light is appearing underneath the carport, and then the location where I'm at inside of the parking lot. And then what's the bigger picture? Not just at the same location in the parking lot, but I'm at the same address. And the duration of time analysis is what you're looking at here, as well as literally the same location at the same address. And then the body of evidence, I'm in Los Angeles today, last year, 300, same day, same time, I'm in Los Angeles. This is impossible to coexist with the sun being over me at 10:37 in the morning outside of my living room window, but I have that on the record on April 1st, 2024. Being over my head at 12:51 p.m. as I step outside of my front door, as I'm facing the hillside, but I have that on video on this day, April 1st, 2024 at 12:51 p.m. as I go downstairs at 1:42 p.m., at 1:47 p.m. The Los Angeles Police Department is gang stalking just like the Ontario Police Department is gang stalking today under that idle remaining fake sun that you see in this video down here, reflecting off of a windshield that is parked at an apartment complex. And what is reflecting off of a windshield is that which is still at the same location, because it's certainly not in New York, it's certainly not in Los Angeles, it's certainly not even in Montclair, California. It's directly over Woodside Senior Apartments, over this vehicle, as I am documenting it. And this is what is relevant to what is the criminal engagement in the P.O.C. by commercial actors such as Amazon Prime, license 37140J3, who is harassing with the entity with whom it's gang stalking by a demon that thinks that they're clever, thinks that they are wearing a cleverly disguised mask, by gang stalking via logo, gang stalking via profiting, commercializing the satanic means of terrorism in this country. That is what Amazon Prime represents, and they're gang stalking in the same manner. So let me show you again what happened at 10 o'clock in the morning, and you will see the fake sun reflecting off of the vehicle in the same parking lot. This is speaking to what is present over me in the same position in the parking lot at 10 o'clock in the morning is in the same position over me in the same parking lot at 5:03 in the evening. Amazon Prime is a heavily documented gang stalker.
I'm going to prison. What you know these sex offenders, these pedophiles in Unit 41 are 04661DA. It's impossible light. They're going to mental asylums.
And that is the fake sun at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's right next to the vehicle that I am standing in front of right here. And for it to be reflecting off of the rear windshield of the vehicle that I'm standing next to, and at 5:03 p.m. at the same address for it to be reflecting off of the passenger side window of the same vehicle at the same address in the same parking lot, That is the pattern of conduct of federal group stalking and monitoring, which you are understanding, and it is proven through presence in the specific environment. Where also driving under the sun will never create light streaming underneath and across away from your vehicle. That's speaking to malice, and that is, in other words, the demon possessed who are admitting to being demons, who are admitting to stalking.
License 7N98091. They're going to mental asylums and going to prison, which, you know, these
RGS is in the same status as Amazon Prime. Gang stalking, the population coming onto the grounds.
Offenders, these pedophiles in Unit 41 are 04661DA. And it's impossible light.
All right. Oh, sorry. The entity that is doing so under the fake sun, that is remaining over me. This is 10 o'clock in the morning. These third parties in Unit 41, they drive past with the intent to terrorize. Stalking with light is the signature of the demons who are engaging in the criminal act of gang stalking. It's terrorism, where I'm standing at the same exact location. That which is over the vehicle at 10 o'clock in the morning is not going to be reflecting off of the vehicle at 5:03 in the afternoon. That which is driven under the sun is not creating any sunlight, but dragging across the walls while you're moving a vehicle, while you're walking, while you are inside of an apartment. It's the same thing. Sunlight doesn't appear across your ceiling. It doesn't cause sunlight to crawl across on the walls and on the floors. This is demonic. It's the evidence of what is surveillance and what is engineer light. None of this is sunlight. Neither is that the sun. And you will have further evidence of this. While Amazon Prime is intentionally and knowingly, this is again the fact that I am known by this Amazon Prime, the company whose employees are gang stalking, and so is everyone at Woodside Senior Apartments. While a psychopath is going berserk with regard to audible activity and pacing, this is the fury of Satan, who is using the body of a person that's going to be diagnosed. Her mental illness is being acted out. She is manifesting her mental illness while she is hostile. And that hostility is in the form of what is pacing, and it's amplified in volume, something that is also supernatural.
Of a windshield of a vehicle that's parked in this parking lot at 12:42 in the afternoon. And Amazon Prime engages in criminal summoning with the Ontario Fire Department, parking at this possible light. They're going to
All right, I want you to see that fake sun reflecting off of the windshield while you're looking at it reflecting off at 5:03 in the morning, and the same thing is happening at 10 o'clock in the morning. Excuse me, 5:03 in the evening, and you're looking at the same thing at the same apartment complex at 10 o'clock in the morning. And then you don't understand, but you can understand why demons are upset. And that hostility, which is criminal acts of obstruction of justice, it's an unlawful threat by the government who is acting through an entire population while they are monitoring you, which is a sex offense. And it's the ongoing criminal activity by the facilitating venue itself, AVANATH, but also by the gang stalkers, who are all going to be prosecuted under existing law, such as the Violence Against Women Act, and also for domestic terrorism and psychological torture. And everyone in units 33 through 64, where this phenomenon is occurring, that's why they're living and engaging in stalking with noise and stalking with light and ongoing terrorism with the government, using planes and helicopters and the population, bearing logos like RGS Landscaping, like Amazon Prime, facilitating that. They're going to prison in units 33 through 64, and so is Linda Reyes and every other employee working for this third party, AVANATH Capital Management.
Same location where the fake sun's over me at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. It's currently 5:03 where the fake sun is at Woodside Senior Apartments in order to be reflecting off of a vehicle in the same parking lot, both in the morning when I stand here, in the afternoon where Amazon, that heavily engages in surveillance with the state and is one of the state agents, where they're engaging in the elements of monitoring and exhibiting demon possession.
So I'm referencing Ontario Fire Department's active criminal summoning that I documented. I also, Amazon Prime parked on this same side of the parking lot, and the parking lot is at approximately 12:42 in the afternoon, where at the same time the entity has the fake sun over me on the same day. At the same time, I was doing a screen recording that day where they engaged in criminal summoning, and the fake sun is also over me in Los Angeles. This is what Amazon Prime decided to engage in knowingly. Amazon Prime, the people at state tend to repeat that which they know is documented about them. I have never met defendants. This is the character of Satan, though, and it's not any badge of honor. It's actually not victorious either. These are the demons that engage in behaviors such as laughing when they are surrounded with evidence, laughing when they look guilty, when they pride themselves on trying to look innocent, whatever they think innocence looks like. But you do not look innocent under the fake sun. You don't look like you're not a stalker under the fake sun. And this is how the entity is going to be proven to be the malicious psychopaths, the maniacal stalkers that they are. and gang stalking in the specific environment. While you're looking at the fake sun reflecting at 10 o'clock in the morning at the same location, you're looking at the fake sun that's over me in the same location, over at the same location at the same exact address. And this is an illusion with regard to what's supposed to appear far away. It's not. As you can see, it's right here over me as it is appearing through the window of a vehicle parked, and it's doing the same thing at 10 o'clock in the morning at the same address. That's the malice of demons who are very severely mentally ill. This is the prosecution of the entity that was gang stalking by helicopter, the Ontario Police Department, and this is the prosecution of the third party, Amazon Prime. Okay, and I want you to see, not only is this not the sun,
fake sun that's perfectly aligned with Tracy Banks' apartment. Amplified plan? That's federal prison. Those that are gang stalking that are immigrants, they're going to be deported. That's impossible.
That's not sunlight either. This is engineered light. This is indeed someone who is gang stalking. You don't have the engineered light there while you move packages around and move around in it, which is accomplishing monitoring, and you're ignorantly or accidentally, or nor will you be found unaccountable for that which you're doing, which is committed in furtherance of murder. You're going to be prosecuted for that. Not only the person operating the vehicle, but the company itself. And there is a wealth of evidence against Amazon Prime as an individual, because companies are treated as persons. So Amazon Prime, that individual is a sex offender, and it is a gang stalker, a domestic terrorist, and it's a very heavily documented one. Okay, the body of evidence is showing that Amazon Prime intends to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring, facilitate federal group stalking and monitoring, which is sexual violence, sexual perversion, psychological torture, psychological warfare, and also that which it is seeking to obstruct justice by engaging in as well. This is the engineered light, which is not the product of the sun. It's not the sun while it's over me at the same location at 10 o'clock in the morning and 5:03 p.m. This demon exhibits hostility using the alarm on this vehicle as he is hostile to my documenting him, and his co-defendants pace in the parking lot under the fake sun like cockroaches. Pay attention.
Light inside of the truck, that's not sunlight. He's engaged in monitoring in real time. The impunity of Amazon Prime is going to be the federal imprisonment, because I documented them gang stalking with Los Angeles police, and they're going to prison for that. That's the fake sun. When they're engaged in criminal summoning with Ontario Fire at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, this is not the natural environment. You're going to reference that documentation, and this is...
Pay attention to the amplified train. That's impossible to hear. It's impossible to be the sun at the same location. A co-defendant with whom he's pacing. The vehicle drives in. He's walking in the same direction. They're pacing.
Impunity by demons who are pacing. This is aggression. Right here, this is aggression. They're angry because I'm documenting.
J Powers, license JPOWERS. These are demons who are pacing using their vehicles and pacing on foot. He's walking in engineered light. They're driving in engineered light. They're under the fake sun that's over me at the same position at 10 o'clock in the morning. This is the pattern of conduct of monitoring, conspicuous stalking by demon-possessed people who are targeting you, know exactly who you are, know exactly what you're saying. And then they're living in these apartment buildings, gang stalking on a 24-hour basis. They're all obsessed with me, gang stalking, and the evidence of the environment proves that. The evidence of the intent to do so via amplification of any means is the evidence of that. And their severely mentally ill conduct, which is not natural or normal under any circumstances. This isn't traffic. This is P.O.C. This is pacing by psychopaths.
This is pacing. J Powers and 8Gen 638, they're with engineer light. They did the same thing at 10 o'clock in the morning, where this fake's in the same position where RGS Landscaping is gang stalking, like Amazon Prime is gang stalking. And that was a show of aggression. While the demons come around, pacing together, amplified train. You can't hear the train. This demon's monitoring while he's looking for an apartment. That's P.O.C. That's audible.
That's a criminal act of retaliation. That demon is hostile. That's audible activity, relevant positioning. And this is a demon-possessed person who is actually seething because I'm exposing his criminal conduct, his sexual perversion, and his psychotic obsession with me while he does not personally know me. This is a demon-possessed person who was very much angry because I'm exposing what it is that he's doing, and he thought he was so smart. And I'm referencing a spirit right now. He thinks Satan thought that he was so intelligent, so high-thinking that no one would ever suspect or be able to prove that gang stalking is underway. That's what Amazon Prime is engaging in, and the use of the alarm is a simultaneous means of activity creation as I turn around and start walking under what is the idle fake sun. That's how you know the truth about everything that I just told you about what's happening in the mind and the condition of that person with that sick mind, because of this environment, which is the reflection of the sun. The sun has to be over the same position in the same parking lot, which is the duration of time is speaking to how that's impossible to naturally be the case. 10 o'clock to 5. Let's count the hours together. 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 7 hours later, the fake sun is documented in the same exact position in alignment to me, reflecting off of the vehicles that are parked at the same location, and the use of the alarm, you need to understand what demons are doing. They're creating activity, and it's noise. It's audible activity under engineered light, which is occurring with regard to monitoring me, which is what demons do when they don't like you, when they're hostile to you. Understand the spiritual significance about what monitoring is. Monitoring is being stalked by the demon possessed who are obsessed with you. They're engaged in psychological warfare. They're stalking in the spirit, and I'm proving how the demon possessed people are stalking physically, and this is government action. This is POC.
Engineer light in the shade. This is an angry demon. That's Amazon Prime. That is a domestic terrorist. Okay, and they hire gang stalkers that are immigrants in this country to engage in domestic terrorism with the corrupt government, and that includes, again, the removal of Paul Leon, who's facilitating domestic terrorism and psychological torture, and whose demon-possessed gang stalking population, which he is a part of, with the police that were flying in helicopter while this fake son is in the same position.
And let's recall what is the same position, what you saw today, the Ontario police gang stalking under an idle fake son that has gone nowhere. And yet I have a body of evidence about what happened on this day in 2024 on the same day at the same time.
That's DBUNI, gang stalking with the demon in unit number 55, who is stalking right above me in the living room where the fake sun and engineer light is aiming inside of the living room. That's a demon stalking in the path with light, just like Ontario PD did with license 8GEN638 at 12:13 p.m. And the Ontario police flies right over in relevant position. They're gang stalking with the police right now. The audible activity is inside of the apartment where the demon in unit 55 with license 5WUB715 is.
So as far as the system, let me just break something down for you really quickly. License DBUNNI, D Bunny. She is a gang stalker by residents, and she is engaging in what is the elements of monitoring in the same way that Amazon Prime is. Parking their vehicle and turning their hazard lights on is a method of presence in the path activity creation using the hazard lights. D Bunny is already in the parking lot. D Bunny is aware of what it is that I'm doing with my communication devices, and they are always trigger happy. And by trigger happy, I mean they are always on edge with regard to my heavy documentation. So you are always in a position to maintain a mode of activity creation as I tend to walk outside of the apartment. This is what D Bunny is doing. She's engaged in surveillance in the parking lot. As I walk out, she's already moving her vehicle, which is light activity under the fake sun that is remaining over me, by the way. Hours earlier today at 12:02 p.m., 5 p.m., D Bunny is gang stalking by residents while I'm at the same apartment, and the fake sun is reflecting off of a vehicle at the same exact apartment complex 5 hours later. And I have documentation of what happened on this day, same time of year, same time of day, analysis regarding what's not the natural environment and the unnatural environment. The specific environment is present because D Bunny is gang stalking with her co-defendant, the mental health patient in Unit 55, who is a chief means of amplified audible activity inside of an apartment building where the demon possessed are gang stalking via amplified pacing. Everything that this elderly woman is doing is amplified in volume. That's a supernatural occurrence, and it's criminal interference with quiet enjoyment, facilitating gang stalking amongst the population. You in your apartment. That's inhumane, and it's also psychopathic. It's also sexually perverted. D Bunny is monitoring as I walk outside of the apartment, and she's gang stalking with the police who are right over the apartment building already.
In prison. All right, she's going to federal prison, gang stalking with the police like everybody in units 33 through 64 who are monitoring on my device. Well, you will see on April 1st, 2024, Unity is gang stalking while I'm living in Los Angeles, where there's no sun over my front apartment. I cannot hear the plane that's at that elevation, at that distance. This is the demonic environment, and you're looking at demons who are gang stalking commercial planes. Paul Leon is being removed from office. Gang stalking by Paul Leon is being removed from office.
That's the Ontario Police Department gang stalking. Never forget about the bigger picture. This is the enduring fake sun. Like I stated, rising on one side of Tracy Banks's door and setting on the opposite side of the same front door. What is over at 12:02 p.m. is still at the same location, while it is reflecting off of a vehicle parked in the same parking lot at 5:03 p.m. like I documented. That is not the sun. That is the setting where you are identifying what Amazon Prime is criminally facilitating, intentionally doing so. Amazon Prime, let me also tell you about these corrupt actors. They surmise that their criminal engagement in the P.O.C. is going to be some basis to relieve mental health patients like the elderly and unemployed at Woodside, and it will not. All of these unemployed demons are going to prison. And not only that, Amazon Prime is also going to be prosecuted. So I'm going to both drain the pot because I'm also going to criminally prosecute, and the unemployed elderly are also still going to prison. I am still draining the pockets of AVANATH. Everyone is being prosecuted for what they sought to do against an American citizen, one person. There's no negotiation with terrorism and with terrorists. That is inhumane. You're talking about a human being, a human life. And this is what the entity does, and this is why you'll have the impunity that's exhibited by a third party such as Amazon, because I've heavily documented them engaging in that. They'll arrive with absolute disregard for the fact that Amazon Prime's they already have a poor reputation, but Amazon, the reputation for terrorism, that's a whole other level, and Amazon Prime does not regard that whatsoever, but neither do the entity. They're homeless. They are essentially homeless. They're going to be out of a house and home. No one else is going to give them housing because you will be a prosecuted sex offender and a terrorist. They're not getting any housing benefits. That does not stop a psychopath from engaging in it. Satan has blinded them so much that they are more consumed with gang stalking me, even though that ongoing endeavor is already exposed, and it's not going to happen with regard to what they want. It's going to happen with regard to what I already told them via this documentation, what's going to happen to all of them. And they're still gang stalking. And third parties with Amazon, like Amazon, they have deep pockets. They are very corrupt. They will arrive and engage in the pattern of conduct. And the mindset behind that, which is also informing policy, you are going to prosecute indiscriminately, regardless of how deep the pockets are, regardless of how impoverished the entity is. The unemployed are going to prison. The physically handicapped are going to prison. The entity that's gang stalking by residence, by place of employment, by being a trespasser, they're gang stalking. The categorization of the venue is what controls, not the placement of some public property. It's absolutely irrelevant. It's relevant insofar as understanding how the entity is exercising malice, but it's irrelevant with regard to what is a fake sun and engineered light where surveillance is underway with the government. That's the impunity that the impunity that exhibits such severe malice, and what's relevant about what's over my head.
Amazon Prime, just like
At 10 o'clock in the morning, where the Ontario Police is gang stalking under a fake sun from 12:02 to 5:03 p.m. That is, again, the demons that are engaging in surveillance by keeping me under, doing the same thing while flying over this apartment building at 12:02 in the afternoon under what is a fake sun, which is the evidence of a gang stalking police department that relies on corrupt companies like Amazon Prime and AVANATH Capital Management. This is the P.O.C. It's currently 5:03 p.m. And this is, again, license 5WB715, a documented gang stalker. She is a mental health patient by documentation of her criminal course of conduct. And she is going to a mental asylum. And she is doing so on behalf of the state, who has the same condition. Their demon-possessed state is what is the cause of their severely demented behaviors, which are designed to monitor. Monitoring is criminal surveillance, and surveillance is happening around you and on the venue of the internet and upon your devices, unbeknownst to you. And the demon-possessed are not ignorant about that. That's how they're monitoring you. Okay, gang stalking is the system that's committed in furtherance of committing murder, kidnapping, speaking to the corrupt misuse and abuse of the court justice system, the criminal justice system, and also the unconstitutionally vague laws where American citizens are being kept against their will in mental asylums, where there is no diagnosis, where the government has no jurisdiction to keep anyone against their will, when they're engaging in this inhumane system in order to kidnap and falsely depict the character of American citizens, whereby the entity is gang stalking with those who are actually mentally ill, such as the demon in Unit 55. License 5WB715. This is P.O.C. It's 6:36 p.m.